I was smoothing the edges of the porch rail when the phone rang. Daniel's name flashed on the screen. My son-in-law. His voice carried that same lazy confidence it always did. "Hey, just wanted to let you know my parents will be moving in with you. Mom says the forest air will be good for her nerves. If that's a problem, you can always come back to the city." Then came his laugh, that smug, hollow sound. I didn't laugh. I just said, "All right," and hung up. That call came 3 weeks after I'd retired, 3 weeks after I'd sold my house, packed away for decades of my life, and moved into a quiet cottage tucked deep beneath tall pines. The place was meant to be my peace. Bird song, clean air, the gentle murmur of a stream that never stopped whispering. I thought I'd finally earned silence. But Daniel never liked me silent. When my daughter married him, he seemed charming, the kind of man who smiled too often and blinked too little. Always polite, always flattering. "You've done so much for us," he'd say while his eyes calculated what more he could take. I watched him chip away at my daughter's light, piece by piece. Her laughter dimmed. Her posture changed. When I asked what was wrong, she smiled weakly and said, "He just gets angry sometimes, Dad. It's fine." It wasn't. I learned what fine meant the night she came to my door with a bruise and an excuse. He didn't mean it. He's under a lot of pressure. I said nothing, just took note, because I knew if I confronted him outright, I'd lose her. So I waited. When I retired, Daniel offered to handle my pension and investments. I let him, watched as he drained my accounts slowly, carefully, into ones bearing his name. He thought I was blind, but I saw everything, every transfer, every withdrawal. I kept the evidence, every receipt and record. When I bought the cottage, it was with money he didn't know existed. The rest, I let him have. I wanted him to believe I was finished, broke, tired, retreating into the woods to fade away. He believed it. So when he called and announced his parents were moving in, I didn't protest. I let the silence drag until he felt uneasy. Then I said, "Sure, there's space." There wasn't, not really, but that was part of the plan. The cottage sat on 5 quiet acres, isolated and self-reliant. I'd made a few changes. Cameras in the trees, motion sensors, a generator running on a separate circuit. The old root cellar had become a locked, reinforced panic room. Every nail I hammered, every wall I sealed, was deliberate. When his parents arrived, I met them on the porch with a smile. His mother stepped out in pearls and perfume, wrinkling her nose. "Smaller than we expected," she said. "Temporary," I replied, "until you find something else." They seemed content with that. They didn't notice how the woods swallowed sound, or the faint hum beneath the porch. For a week, I was the image of hospitality. Hot meals, stacked firewood, polite talk about weather and wildlife. But at night, I reviewed the footage, adjusted the locks, and waited for the right call. It came on the 7th day. Daniel again. "Hey, Dad, how's it going with my folks?" he asked, that sneer hidden beneath his words. "Wonderful," I said. "They're settling in." He laughed. "Good. You're finally being useful." That was the moment I knew tomorrow would be the day. That evening, I made venison stew and opened a bottle of wine I'd been saving for years. Halfway through dinner, I excused myself to fetch more wood. Instead, I stepped outside, sealed the doors, and cut the main power. The camera saw everything: confusion, panic, glass breaking. It didn't last long, just long enough. By the time the sheriff arrived the next morning, I was calm. I told him Daniel's parents had broken in, attacked me, tried to rob the place. The footage supported every word. He believed it. Daniel didn't. 2 days later, he came tearing up the dirt path, shouting accusations. I said nothing. I simply played him a recording, his own voice from our last call, arrogant and incriminating. His face drained of color. "You stole from me, Daniel," I said quietly. "You hurt my daughter. This is me taking back what's mine." I handed the sheriff a second flash drive, the one with every financial record tied to his name. He's still behind bars. His parents were cremated without ceremony. My daughter stayed with me for a while after that, until she found her footing again. Sometimes she asks how I stayed so calm through everything. I tell her the truth. I wasn't calm. I was patient. Because revenge isn't anger, it's precision. And deep beneath the pines, where no one can hear you plotting, patience sounds exactly like peace.